Tonight on 8.5-bit, we make some photos, make some violence, and make some copies. Welcome, friends of all design, to episode 254 of 8.5-bit. I'm your host, Paul, and joining me today is my good friend, James.
Hello.
And James, how are you going today?
I'm going well.
Okay. Now, the games that were alluded to in the introduction, photographs.
Yes.
Puzzle stories, I think is the subtitle.
Yeah, because it's on the App Store, and photographs is a rather reserved
word. Terrible fucking
it's a bad name.
A game that got banned today.
Oh, I didn't know something was banned today.
Katana Zero. Which is unfortunate because I have a lot to talk about with Katana Zero.
Banned?
Yeah, we'll talk about that when we get up to it. We might have to talk about it soon because it was like, I suppose it is our biggest new release and also its biggest news at the moment.
Oh, okay.
And the game that you've been playing, it's a little bit older but still interesting, Echo. And other games. Lots of, actually, we've both been playing shitloads of games this last 2 weeks.
Yeah, a bunch of things.
So, yeah, anything else been going on?
No, I started working in a new place. Oh, I spoke to the ATO today.
Yes.
This is for about an hour.
That's the Australian tax office for all of those.
Yeah. And I managed to get all my problems solved. That's my story. I actually like the ATO when you call them. They're generally helpful.
I've never had a problem with the ATO.
Yeah, like they're always like, I got more help than I asked for. Like I called them, and it's like, oh, before you go, let me just walk you through setting up all of these things which will make your life easier.
Yeah,
that's great. So
I
good
think
job, ATO.
The only time I've had to talk to them was about my my I can't even think of the word. My ABN, and they're like, oh, are you still using this? It's been 10 years and we don't have a lot on file. I'm like, yeah, I just do odd jobs here and there. Okay, keep it up.
Yeah, I think tax gets a bad rap. And you think like government and tax, these two things are like, this must just be a clusterfuck.
Yeah.
But somehow, it's actually pretty good. They're helpful and nice, and you don't wait long. I called up and they're like, oh, you're going to be waiting like 15 minutes. 2 minutes later, I was talking to someone.
Yeah, I think my problem with tax in the country is more to do with the people that don't pay it more than the people that collect it.
Yes, people that collect it actually doing an all right job.
I feel if I were to be audited, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. It'd be a little bit stressful because I have to put shit together, and I'm not that good at record keeping. But also, I don't do anything wrong. So the worst they'd say is like, oh, you should be filling that out instead of that. And let's face it, our tax is pretty fucking simple in this country. So they probably wouldn't have much of that either. It's like, yeah, you answered the questions as you went through the questionnaire. Congrats, you are literate. So who knows? Maybe next year I'll get audited and I'll have to pay back. I'll be the Jimmy Carr of Australia.
Maybe one day game dev will be targeted for auditing. They know we don't make any money.
Well, I was going to say they don't recognise game dev, but the tax office has always been extremely progressive with who they recognise.
Yeah, they have prostitutes on there.
Yes, and I believe at one point, I don't know if it's still there, but you could put drug dealer.
Look, as long as you're paying your tax on that drug money.
Yeah. Well, exactly. I mean, that's the old. That's how they got Capone. It's just like, it's like fucked up his taxes. Yeah. It's like couldn't get him for any of the other crimes. It's like no, tax officers. You didn't go through the questionnaire properly, mate. Fill it out. We're not here to get you. We're here to get the money. Okay. So I worked at I'm a Terrible Person.
Well, how'd you figure this out?
Because I don't really care about the Notre Dame Cathedral burning down, but I did enjoy Hellboy. So I think that makes me a bad person.
Little. Like, I was a bit sad about the cathedral.
Why are you sad about it?
Because I've seen those cathedrals. Like, I've seen, like, cathedrals in Italy. Yeah. And they are something special. Like, they really are a product of their time, and it is not replicated anymore. Like, they are very unique and awe-inspiring. So, to lose one, a bit sad. It's like, I can't see it. But there was that cool thing with the Assassin's Creed. Was it Syndicate, where they had there was someone who spent like 2 years like mapping it out, and so now that's like, hey, Notre Dame, do you just like want to use our data to restore it? It's cool.
like, they will restore it.
Yeah.
I wish they wouldn't restore it. I wish they would do something cool with the new thing. like preserve the destruction to a degree, because it's part of its history now.
Yeah.
Because, and the thing is, like, if you see the cathedral post-fire, it's mostly there. Most of the things are there and they're fine. It's the spire, and the spire is obviously very popular. But it's like, it's the big emotional outcry and the hundreds of millions of dollars that were crowdfunded to rebuild it. I'm like, really? You don't think the government I mean, because it's not owned by the Catholic Church anymore, but honestly, got a vested interest in it.
Yeah.
They use it.
So I'm pretty sure that's one of the reasons you pay your taxes, so they can fix that shit as well.
Yeah. Anyway, as I pointed out, nobody's fucking fixed up the Red Hill skate rink yet. That burned down 17 years ago.
Haven't they torn that down yet?
No,
Is it still there as a husk?
It's still there. It has been the last couple of years. Reading Cinemas wants to turn it into a cinema.
Yeah, well, they should.
But they want to like preserve as much of the old structure because it is heritage listed.
Yeah.
Because it used to be a theater before it became a skate rink. So it actually becoming a theater is actually
kind of
fine.
makes
it's kind of cool. But man, that skate rink is awesome and dangerous. Extremely dangerous to go into. It is a burnt out husk.
Yes.
With floors that collapse. But it's cool. It's got good graffiti in it.
It does.
It does. Okay. And yeah, I didn't mind Hellboy.
Yeah,
Everyone else tells me it's terrible. I'm like, but I watched it, and I mean, like, it's a mess. Don't get me wrong. It's a mess.
How is it compared to Del Toro?
It's far more accurate to the comic. Not to say that it's 100% accurate, but it is far more in line with the stuff. To a fault, though, because Mignola... and I never really say his name out loud, so I don't know if I put the syllables in the right order. He helped pen the script. And I think Toast is chewing the table at the moment.
Oh, okay, buddy.
Like he used to.
Yeah.
When he was a little puppy.
Yeah, you just go back to licking my feet.
Can you just stop that, you little bastard?
Yeah.
My lovely little bastard. But he wanted to throw in, like, volumes and volumes of story. And there's just... I described it as it's the third movie of the trilogy, but they didn't make the first two. So they'll introduce something, go, oh, good, it's great to see you again. Audience has never fucking seen this character before. Then they have to quickly sort of do a quick flashback to explain that character, but because of that, there's no stakes involved and no one understands anything. But if you already have an understanding in relationship of all that stuff, it's kind of all right.
Oh, so it's like watching Passion of the Christ. If you're already invested, it's a better movie.
Yeah. And, like, this is a weird comparison because it is a much better movie than Hellboy is, but, like, American Psycho actually really, I think, only really works in conjunction with the book. It's a great side piece. It is actually still a pretty good film on its own, but it's one of those things where it's like, if you've read the book, you kind of get everything a lot better. And so Hellboy is, if you're aware of the source material, it's okay. Like, I was very excited for Baba Yaga. Baba Yaga, I do not know why she is in the movie. Like... Like, she's got two scenes, and, like, they're kind of important, but they easily could have just made it any other character. It's like, this is really fucking confusing to have this character in.
Is this kind of fan servicey?
It's very fan servicey. Well, because it also is sort of going to, like, later in Baba Yaga and Hellboy's relationship. So you skip the bit where they even establish a relationship. It's like, here's a weird, mysterious person you've never seen before doing a thing you don't understand, and goodbye forever now. And as I say, I still enjoy it. Like, you know, it's like a 6 out of 10 or something. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm even being a little bit generous there, but I didn't hate it. People said it's like Suicide Squad. I'm like, no, there was nothing happening in that movie. That movie was boring as fuck, other than Slipknot, who is an amazing character. Hellboy's got too much stuff going on. Suicide Squad, not enough to care about. Hellboy, too much to care about.
Too much, and not enough reasons given.
And weird soundtrack choices. Just rock guitar every time something interesting happens.
I thought they were going for some kind of grungy rock kind of vibe with it.
Yeah, I don't know. See, so I'll use Baba Yaga as another comparison. We'll move on from Hellboy very soon, I promise, audience. In the Baba Yaga,
we'll go back to tax.
You know, it's kind of like, it's almost a Del Toro-ish monster. I think like sort of approached the scene with that sort of thinking, but not landing as well as Del Toro does with that sort of stuff. You know, going in this material, and then there's sort of a bit of a fight scene, and she's a bit of a freak, and it's like, in the book, she's more of a poem. It's hard to film a poem.
She's a poem.
Yeah, that's how I would describe her. Okay. Her presence is more poetic.
Okay.
Oh, Toast is finding all sorts of things in my room. This is why we don't normally let the dogs in.
I mean, Dusty's been alright. He's just been a good boy.
Oi. Little bastard. How do you don't do this during the day? I don't close my office to the dogs. I thought this would be like not that much of an attraction for them, but apparently us sitting here is what really means tear my goddamn office apart. Okay, let's talk about some video games. Should we talk about the controversial one?
Yeah, because I know nothing of this controversy.
Okay, so Katana Zero is a new game coming out that it was first revealed in a Nintendo Indies.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's coming out on Switch. It's also on PC. I was playing it for review, and I guess this is my review, but we'll get into that. Oh, actually, let's just go through the whole thing at once. So, if I would explain this game, you are a samurai assassin. It plays a little bit like Hotline Miami, not in perspective. It's side-scrolling.
Oh, okay. I was wondering if it'd be a bit more Messenger.
No.
Okay.
It's each level is broken up into single stages. Those stages are played quite fast. It's one hit, one death.
Okay.
And you play it, and it's instant restart.
Yeah.
Actually, if you don't push the restart button, it does take a little bit because it rewinds the scene, and you can watch it backwards.
Mm-hmm.
I've never really needed to watch it backwards. I don't know what to get out of that.
What do you get out of that?
But you push a button, and it's instant restart.
I mean, if you could rewind and then resume like halfway from the rewind,
they'll probably make it way too easy.
Yeah.
Because even the game is challenging, but it's not like a super hardcore game. I think I'm being fair there because I do sometimes mischaracterize platformers, but I wouldn't say it would be as hard as like the Messenger gets or anything like that. So lots are very, very violent. Mm-hmm. But that's kind of only half the game. This game is super story focused. I would liken it to a little bit to Leon.
Okay.
The Professional. Okay. A bit like Drive. It's got certainly references to sort of Vietnam movies. It deals a lot with a lot of quite heavy issues. You're also a futuristic ninja samurai who has a drug of time being pumped through his veins.
Drug of time.
It's called Chronos. Literally, they're injecting you with time, which makes you basically immortal. And they have an in-universe explanation for you restarting levels. And that stuff ends up becoming part of the story as well. They can mess with perception and things. It gets quite complex. The way they tell the story is tremendous. I loved if you just wrote down the story, it's fine. It's a video game. It's a better than average video game story, which makes it a blah, pulpy, whatever story. The way they present it is so each stage is basically there's a countdown. It's like 8 days remaining, whatever. Boom. Okay. You wake up in the morning. There's just adventure scenes. You talk to people around. You go to your therapist. You chat to your therapist. Whenever you talk to someone, there's like a bar at the bottom which has them talking at the beginning and then time for your response. You can pretty much most of the time respond before they finish talking. You can cut them off and tell them to shut the fuck up. You can be very aggressive as a character, or you could be quite passive. And so you go to your therapist. The therapist is the person that also injects you, and the person that gives you the person you're killing that day. Okay. So he's like a handler.
Yeah.
But
does he also give you sound mental health advice?
It's more delving into your past, because of course you've got you're an amnesia. But this without going too much into story stuff, the world is actually, and this is, so I mentioned earlier this game got banned today. They're resubmitting it for classification in this country. It's very unfortunate because it was coming out in 2 days. Well, 2 days ago when this is released. And a lot of people are speculating it's because of the drug use in it. But the drug is called Chronos, it's time, and the benefits it gives you are not the sort of things that you normally get. I actually think it might be the violence.
Yeah, because I thought for drugs it needed to be like kind of real world analogous as well. Like space drugs are okay.
It's like Bug Butcher got banned because they literally you picked up a needle that said speed.
Yeah,
and it gave you a power up. It's like, okay, that's obviously you've mischaracterized what they mean there, but I get why you're just being stupidly pedantic. In this, it's like I don't know if the drug policy does what this does. Like for a game that's like pixely and like kind of, hey, look, you're a fun ninja. It gets fucked up. It gets to spoil sort of a line of dialogue without explaining who or situation. At one point, a character says to you, invites you to come back to his place with these girls. He's got some cameras set up, and you can bash their skulls in.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, if it's getting into sexual violence territory as well.
Yeah. Well, that's why I thought like that section in particular, that line is just like, I mean, it may be uncomfortable. Like, he's a bad guy, by the way. But you're not a particularly good guy either. Yeah. One of the things I find quite refreshing is they refer to constantly what you do as murder.
Okay.
It's like
they don't try and
no, you're a murderer. Like, cops come to the scene and you kill the cops to get out, and you murdered cops. And there's sort of at one point of the game, it's not a fake out ending. There's like an alternative ending, and it's actually like, if I didn't want to play more of the game because the game was so good, it'd be like, actually, this is an appropriate ending. I could stop the game here. It's not like a Far Cry thing where it's just like, oh, do it, it's a fun Easter egg. It's like, no, there's a genuine other ending in the game. And I actually wonder, because there's so many different ways to play some of this conversation and everything, whether there are some more story paths that I haven't explored yet. Because as reviews aren't out yet, they're allowed in 2 days ago. I don't know if there's any divergence in that stuff. I'm replaying some of it because there is sort of some secrets to unlock. Because it's not that long of a game. I think it's about 4 hours.
Okay.
But the story is captivating the way it's told. It's really... It's effective, and it's both incredibly campy and serious at the same time. It's exploitative, yet effective. I don't want to go too much into the story stuff, even though it is the stuff I want to talk about the most. But I guess I didn't actually describe that much of the gameplay. It's side-scrolling. You've got a sword attack. You can pick up stuff. You can throw the stuff. The stuff you pick up gets a bit more varied as you go through the game. You don't get really any extra abilities through the game. It just gets harder scenarios. And, it's very Hotline Miami. It's like someone's on the other side of a door. Kick in the door. You'll kill them with that hit. You've got a button that slows down time. And you've got a button that does a dodge. And you can deflect bullets by hitting. But you can't just swing your sword constantly. So you're not going to stop a machine gun or a shotgun. But you might be able to roll through that and hit the last bullet to reflect it and kill someone and stuff like that.
So how long does it take to actually finish a level once you know the run?
The longest... like chapters are broken up into, I don't know, about 8 levels. Each level, probably at the end of the day when you're doing it, the longest ones are probably like maybe a minute. But most of them are closer to like the 20-second, 30-second line.
Where they can skirt that brutal frustration because you're constantly...
And what I like is that the combat can be quite hard. But many times through the game, they throw in like a new combat mechanic, like a new combat idea, like this stage is doing something different. What I like is that the different stuff, they never make that as hard as the normal combat. So it's not like, oh, here's a new thing that you're only going to see for one level. It's also impossible. Get used to it so you can forget. It's like, no. It's always just a fun diversion. They'll give you... they'll give you an easy level after a bunch, and then just there's a lot of story stuff that interjects the levels. It's very cool. And the amount of time after a level where I had my plan fucked up, but some cool shit happened. I'm like, I got through that one. Yeah, good on me. It's very satisfying. It looks great. As I say, the story feels great, but it's banned, and we don't know why. I tried to look it up on the classification board.
I thought they'd have to report that somewhere.
I don't know if it gets anything public at the moment, because at the top of the website at the moment there's a big notice saying that the website is currently under caretaker mode, and I think they might stop publishing during the election.
Oh, okay, yep.
So odd timing. Because normally from what I recall, every time I hear about bannings, I go and look up the report, and there was no report to be found.
I wonder if that means they need to wait until after the election before they can get approval.
I think they're still functioning.
Okay.
But I think the website falls underneath some classification. I had to briefly look into it, but I didn't delve in. Because it'd be a pity if it didn't get played. Because even though I'm like this, and that was probably the most like gross example I said there. There is still some actual depicted violence against people, and also I guess technically kids as well. But it's all like there's no reason an adult should be able to play it. It's not like we're not. I can't even think of an example of something. It's most of the things I'm talking about are more implied. And there are some really gross visuals as well, but they're no worse than any other movie or game that does anything that's that sort of, let's call it edgy.
I'm wondering if it being, because it's sort of like lo-fi, isn't it? Like it's kind of like 8-bit aesthetic or 16.
No, it's more 16.
More 16-bit. Like I'm wondering if like not having the fidelity there, like means there's more kind of projected into it, and is that somehow?
I've never seen them that say like implied graphics is worse than actual. Like, I expect they find the violence in Mortal Kombat 11 worse than the violence in this.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Like, if you take something like hyper violent, like Mortal Kombat, does that somehow, is it worse? Just in terms of the reaction to it, like just like, oh, my mind's filling in the blanks for this, and that's going to do much kind of.
I think artistically it's worse. I think as far as the classification board goes, I think it is by the letter, not as bad.
Okay, yeah.
Because that's the whole thing. That's why we get these stupid rulings, because they just pedantically follow the rules and say, well, this pixel that's 1 pixel too many. It's like, God damn it! Yeah. When do we start counting pixels? But yes, Katana Zero. It should have been out on Friday. It is not going to be out in this country, but thankfully we live in a digital age where that doesn't fucking matter. So your Switch is region free, so you just buy it from another country if you want, and I'm sure you'll be able to get it on lots of digital platforms that aren't tied to fucking Australia's bullshit laws. Especially you poor folks in New Zealand who get constantly screwed over by stuff getting banned here when it isn't banned in New Zealand, but they just get thrown into the same hat because, I mean, we're pretty small markets. So yes. James.
Yes.
Do you want to talk about anything?
Yeah, I've got a few things on my list.
Yeah.
Which one? You can pick.
Well, let's talk about Echo since it was in the intro.
Oh, yeah, okay. So Echo, I picked up for a whole $8. I had never heard of it before. Somehow I managed to completely miss this game. I think it was out late last year. It's not super recent.
I thought it was like mid last year, maybe even a bit earlier.
Yeah.
I don't have my phone with me.
Sometime last year. Out long enough to be $8.
Yes, because it was always a game that I wanted to play, but I think it was like a $25, $30 game, and I didn't want to play it that much. I wanted to try it because it has a very interesting idea.
Yes, and I don't know how much to talk about the idea.
Because you seem to go in very blind.
Well, I deliberately went in very blind because I watched
So here's my question with that. If you didn't know the base concept, which it seemed you didn't, what did attract you to it?
The art. It was really it looked like the art looked cool. I was intrigued by this kind
of like me and Haiti.
Oh yeah, maybe a bit like that. So I'm not sure how much different my experience would have been if I knew the mechanical premise before, because the game really does not tell you. It deliberately hides it from you, and there is this sort of like discovery, but then also it's quite obtuse.
Which was funny because I don't think anyone else in the chat had played it, but somehow you being the person that played it was the only person that didn't understand.
Yeah, didn't understand what this thing is. So I'll just talk about my initial experience first, because I think we should talk about what it is. People can just kind of skip ahead if they care that much. We're not going to go into major spoilers.
Third person.
Yeah, it's third person.
The end.
So one of the first things that kind of drove me to get it was like this. I saw this like infinitely generated mansion.
Yeah,
and I thought, and aesthetically, it was very interesting. So $8, I'll check it out. And the first thing I thought was kind of cool was that like when you make something procedurally generated, it's very easy to make a lot of repetition, so you can see the patterns of the thing kind of procedurally generating. But you'll generally kind of want to seed it and guide the player down a known path still, or generate the level in a way that kind of gets people to go where you want to go.
Yeah.
And I kind of figured out after a while, at least in the early parts of the game, because I think it does get a bit more level based later on, but at least sort of like in certain parts of it, it will just kind of procedurally generate this thing and tell you the vague direction to go. And then it will just kind of place the doors and things like that to get you there. So it's kind of this like this weird experience where the first thing I did, and put in this space, this new interesting space, and I wanted to explore it, which means kind of going the opposite direction of where I meant to go. But because the thing's procedurally generated, there's not going to be anything there.
There's not going to be anything interesting there, yeah.
And so it's almost like they used one of the kind of I guess downsides or like one of the weaknesses of procedural generation, which is kind of like making interesting things to explore, and then but kind of like stopped me as a player from doing it by just letting me get kind of bored and going, oh, I'm just going to go this way after a while. Like, it was just sort of like this very interesting way to guide me, which you think on the surface would be bad, like giving me an infinite corridor, not doing something to tell me to go, off the path, and just wait for me to get bored, and then I'll go off the path, which is kind of what they do. So I hadn't really played that in like a procedurally generated game before. Like generally they'll try to do something where it's like if you go in a certain direction for a while, they'll give you something, but this was like, no, go off the path. So that's sort of like my first kind of experience with it. Apart from that, there's like a lot of it's very story heavy early on, but it's because it's one of these kind of like far distant future sci-fi stories without a lot of backstory given. Like, you kind of have to kind of figure it out as you go along, which I am starting to a little bit now. So kind of playing through this thing, it's like I know absolutely nothing about it, and then it just starts kind of like throwing these kind of weird systems at me, particularly one with the lights going out.
Okay, so before we get up to that, we've sort of skipped a lot of what the game place is. So this place has been it's pretty much like a almost pure white location, isn't it? It's like very bright, very light.
Very white, very clean.
But it's like an action stealth game.
Yes. yes, it is. It is like an action stealth game.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there are at the beginning of the game, I assume it starts with guards around.
No.
It doesn't have anything when you start?
No.
Okay.
And it's slowly as lights go out, the world you kind of figure out after a while that every time the lights go out, and that, like, it's like the power shuts down.
Yep.
Complete agency is taken away from the player. It's almost like the game's shut down. Like, it just goes complete black, nothing, and then reloads and boots up again, and all the lights flicker back on and everything. And there'll just be slight changes. Like, there's like this kind of like constant power outage as you go. And at least like the first maybe hour of the game, because it takes a while to actually get into what the game is. And that's kind of the bit where I didn't really want to spoil what the game is, because I think that first period is quite interesting to play through.
But admittedly, you have not got up to the thing yet that would make this game interesting for anyone to care about.
Yes, so
you're going to blow your load and explain the actual concept of the game.
We'll get to actually what the concept is. Okay.
Yes.
So the concept of this game is after every blackout, the enemies that eventually appear will only do what you have done in the previous blackout. That's sort of the basic mechanical premise.
Prior to the previous blackout.
Yeah. So it's like
during the blackout is the time you can do anything
you can do whatever you want. So if you want to start shooting people in the face, do it in the blackout, because if you shoot them in the face out of the blackout, next cycle they're going to be shooting at you.
So the game, while it is not blacked out, is basically recording you.
Yes.
And that's the base concept. Yeah. So it's like records you, and then that updates the AI of the guards that will be in the game. And then once it blacks out, it's uploading that recording, and that's the time you can fucking do something that's anti what you've done before.
And a lot of that time you just run, because after that reboot, everything comes back to life anyway, because they're gonna everything reset. They've got new abilities and they'll do it. So you do end up making very interesting decisions of like, I could shoot that person in the face, or even I could open that door. But if I open that door, next time they'll know how to open doors, and I might be a bit screwed. So it really is unlike any stealth mechanic I've played before, because it's like each block of time you're choosing what the next iteration is going to be, and by choosing it to make it yourself a little easier now, it's going to make your life harder later. Where I think it kind of falls flat is that like it's an amazing mechanic. Like, I've never seen it before. I don't feel like the execution itself is that compelling. Like, it's the combat's not that great, the stealth's not that great. So I don't actually have a lot of fun playing it when things go wrong. So I more approach it of like, well, what can I do to try and avoid that from happening? Which makes me kind of want it to be a bit more of a puzzler than kind of an action stealth game. Like, I feel like, but then if it was more of a puzzler, it wouldn't be quite as that unique kind of like, I've never had that in an action game before, you know? So
what if during the blackout you eject all the bullets from your gun, and then the power comes back on, and then you just put it up to your head and start firing?
My favorite one is because like it's a stealth game, so you know, I crouch a lot, and you know when you've been recorded, because
suddenly everyone's crouching.
Well, because you get this little flicker, like this ghostly shell of like, oh, we've noticed that. So you know, and so sure enough, next iteration they're just crouching, but because I did nothing else, because I'm not going to shoot anyone. So if these, as soon as I see you, they do come towards you. Don't run. Because if you run, they'll be able to do that next time. So, like, before I knew any of this, because I knew nothing of the premise, and it doesn't actually do a good job at teaching it to you. It just puts you in a situation where you're fucked.
I mean, it sounds like it would be really fun to go in without knowing the premise.
Yeah.
It was just quite rare to be able to.
I kind of think to a point, because it did... I almost stopped playing it because I didn't know.
Yeah.
And I got to this one area where there were doors, there were people to shoot, I could run, and I just couldn't get past it. And it didn't tell me any of this stuff. And I had no idea why sometimes my iteration would be easy and sometimes it'd be harder. Like, I didn't know.
You're not very perceptive, are you?
Well, it's...
Just turn this on you, blaming the victim.
Being victim blaming. Like, it's such a unique mechanic. With I just kind of wish that they introduced it a little bit clearer. Because then it would have been like, oh, okay. And then basically after that level, it's almost like the blocker for you to figure it out on your own. And then after that, then they're more explicit about what's going on. I definitely feel like I've got my $8 worth. Like, it's such an interesting mechanic.
That's cheaper than a burrito.
It is cheaper than a burrito
in this country.
Yeah,
with the bloody current government in charge, bring the bloody burrito tax down.
It got picked up for, like, the movie rights got picked up.
Yeah,
recently. I feel like the premise would make a good movie.
I would I imagine it being like, I can't remember his name, but like the director of Cube. Like, if this had been his next project that had a bit more budget after Cube.
It's got a bit of a Cube vibe to it. I think, like, it feels kind of high concept. I don't enjoy playing it that much. That's the problem I've got. I don't actually have much fun when I'm playing it. It's stressful. Because, like,
Are the characters any good?
Yeah, actually, I quite like...
Because I can kind of imagine that being something that could pull you through.
I like probably more the AI than the lead herself. Though they have, like, some good banter. Like, I don't mind the characters. There's really only two, which is like, maybe there's more later, I don't know, but at least so far it's N, her name is, and London, I think, is the name of the computer. Like, they're good enough characters. I remember their names. I don't remember shit of names of characters in things. So yeah.
So that's Echo. I think it only came to... do you know if it came to console? I think it was only a PC game.
I think it did come to console because I think in the videos I was watching, it had controller prompts.
Oh. Well, so, I mean, that can still be PC.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
But we don't know.
I don't know. Maybe.
You use your Google machine. I don't have mine with me. Okay, let's do some news. Exciting news. It's been Star Wars Celebration, which is a time that we celebrate Star Wars, the incredibly uneven and sometimes good and sometimes bad thing that lots of people care about. A lot. Care about it a lot. I like it. They care about it a lot. Anyway, we got a reveal of Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, the Respawn game, which has been known for quite a while, and we finally got to see some cutscenes from it. Fuck you!
Yeah, with some implied gameplay. There's something that looked like wall running.
Yeah, well, we actually know that wall running's in the game. They did a cutscene shot of him wall running. You know, this is based after Order 66. I like is it in Red Letter? Like it's like Order 6. No, that's too low. Order 666. No, that's too on the nose. I know. Order 66. Anyway, so yeah,
Cal says it is the best ever.
What, Star Wars?
I think
but he hates so much about Star Wars.
Apparently it's the best ever.
I think there's many things that are more consistent to love than Star Wars.
I like Star Wars a lot, but I wouldn't say it's the best ever. I enjoy it. I liked the look of this trailer. I think it's
I think the setting looks great. Yeah. I just don't care that much because it's Star Wars and it kind of looks like that. What I want is some games. Yeah, and some
I like Respawn. Respawn do good.
Respawn haven't made a bad game yet.
They have made, like, Titanfall 2 was
very nice.
They've gone on the record to say there will be no microtransactions and no loot boxes, and people were happy, and that made me sad that this is now a thing that people
need to point out.
Yeah, you need to actually say.
Well, I think I was sort of saying that this is going to be big. It's going to sell very well, and at the end of the year financial reports for EA, it's going to be like halfway down the list.
And
It's
and it will never happen again.
It's like a token to like, okay, everyone that's complaining about this, go. Yeah. By the way, that Star Wars card game we got on mobile, fucking raking it in. Disney is so happy with us. You think Disney hate us, but we love the fucking money. So the setting looks good. From reports, it's like. It's not an open world game, but it's just a series of large zones. So it's open gameplay in different zones that are different planets. And it's not a lot of recycling places we've been before, which is nice. And they liken the combat to a Dark Souls-ish, which they mean more impactful individual encounters with animation, like a heavy animation priority to the attacks, based on blocking, parrying, dodging, that stuff.
Which is cool. Like, it's nice to see lightsaber fights going to be a bit more less than like a choreographed dance and more of combat.
It would be cool to see if they would show us. I mean, they'll show us. I just wanted to see then. It's been so much fucking cock teasing for so long, and then it's like, here's just a bunch of cutscenes. And yes, it looks cool, but it doesn't mean anything yet to me. Because I generally don't care about stories that much, except for Katana Zero. And oddly enough, another game we're going to talk about later tonight. And also a fake-out game. Ooh, but which one's which? You'll never know until I start talking about them explicitly. So that's coming. I suppose also in Star Wars, they showed the new movie trailer.
Oh, yeah.
The trailer was fine.
Yeah.
But the two things are, the name is bad, but evocative. Well, not evocative. I guess it's evocative of mystery of why the fuck is it called that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like I feel like it's more than a nonsense name. Like, it's implying something. I just have no idea what the implication is.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
You're trying to say something there, title. I don't know what it is.
What I would say, and at the end they reveal Palpatine in some way is alive.
Yeah.
What would have been nice if he said, "Execute Order 99."
There's a cackle at the end.
Oh god, yeah. I want Order 69. He's just giggling. Order 420. Oh, it's just fucking choice. Anyway, Star Wars. Okay,
I think Crossdog said something. Oh, he said he can't tune in because he's in public, but he disagrees with what Paul said.
That's fair enough.
yeah, fair call. Fair call, Crossdog.
Yeah, I mean, I said that people like Star Wars, and I mean, I've been proven wrong so much in recent years.
But never admit it. You got to dig those heels in.
Damn straight. Okay, we weirdly, this was such a weird thing. Wired today published an article on the first details of the PS5. Not yet called the PS5. I'm going to bet it's called the PS5.
Yeah.
Even then, I was thinking they'll call it the PSV because V's are cool, and then it can really easily lie into VR. But then it's like, when it comes to like listing things and retail and everything, they've also got the Vita and like, I bet they won't. I bet it'll just be a 5.
I'm wondering if this is going to drop it. And like, will it just be, this is the movement into, this is now PlayStation as a platform. You just buy a PlayStation.
Nah, not Sony. Not Sony. In fact, the information that they revealed makes me think even less that, because Mark Cerny, his opening statement is like, the new PlayStation is more than just a reiteration and like an upgrade of what we currently got. So here are the details. It's got a faster processor. It's got more RAM. It's got a faster hard drive. It's like, okay, these are all iterative.
These are all the things you've iterated on.
Like, it's like, oh yeah, but we're going to use ray tracing for sound. It's going to be better sound. It's like, yes, this is all just things getting better. There's nothing here that's like the specs sound fine. It sounds like a powerful machine. And I'm not going to go through them here because I don't remember them, and it also doesn't mean necessarily that much to me. Okay, having some sort of ray tracing support and also using that for sound. Okay, that's interesting. Having an SSD built in, very exciting.
Well, that's going to probably be the biggest performance impact.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, part of the problem there is they're going on about how games are getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and like a big SSD is still not that cheap. I mean, it's cheaper than it was, but it's not like... I can get 10 terabytes for the cost of 1 terabyte
Yeah,
of SSD.
I almost want to be able to choose, can I offload some to like the...
Yeah,
to like other drive or something. Can we have a slow storage and fast storage? So I'm sure there's some things you can put on that slow storage. They probably kind of do,
because PlayStation, for the last few iterations, has just allowed USB support.
Yeah.
So they might have something like that. But they didn't. They said that the PSVR, the current one, will be compatible. Didn't go any further than that, which is good because we've only just got these headsets in 4 million homes or so now, and to drop support for it, I could see potentially pissing off a lot of people. But I'm also hoping there's a but and there where they say, okay, but we're also there's a new camera, there's new motion controllers, there's potentially a new headset that's better than the current one, but the old stuff still works as well in case you don't have that extra $400.
I'm hoping it's just like PC, where there's just going to be different experiences depending on the headset that you have.
Yeah, and that's good, and I assume they'll have the ports built into the machine.
Yeah. It'd be nice if they upgraded the Move controllers. Oh, you can see him pop his little head up.
Yeah. If you're watching the video, you can see the dogs jump up occasionally. Hey, Toast.
Hey, puppy. Well, I got distracted by puppies.
We're talking about the PS5. But I suppose the big takeaway is that...
Oh, yeah, Move controllers are real old now.
Yeah.
PS...
I was thinking about...
PS3, yeah.
But the Move controllers were, and they say it wasn't, but it was, a reaction to the Wii. That's the Sony's Wii. The Wii is very old. And yes, it's better than the Wii in many ways. It's also just as bad as the Wii in many ways. There's a lot that's changed since then. Get rid of them, do something... Yeah. Anyway, because when the tracking goes bad with the PSVR, it's normally the controllers that are going bad. Toast is very demanding.
Hey, buddy.
Hello.
The YouTube watchers are in for a treat.
Yeah, he's just a cute little boy. He's been in the wars. Took him to the vet today, and he's much better. He's doing great. Good job, Toasty. Yes. Now he just wants to snuggle. Dusty's here now. He's like, Toast is getting attention. Yeah, we call Dusty Mr. Jealous. Hey, Mr. Jealous. Okay. PS. Is there anything else that jumped out at you to discuss? No. It just looks good. I thought they're still going to have a physical drive in it. Yeah, which is good. I mean, that's a very Sony thing. But and that's sort of like when you're saying maybe they'll drop it. It's like no, because it's at the moment sounding so traditional. Yeah, and that may be Sony's ace to play in the next one. It could be. Where everyone else is like, we've got streaming support, we're branching out, we're doing all these new things, and they're like, we're a box you plug into a TV. Well, that's what it worked well for the PS4. Yeah, because that's what they did. They just we're going to double down. This is a game machine. We're not going to be Xbox Entertainment Network, whatever, all uppercase. This is how it must be reported. They were like, no, the games. Remember they showed how you could trade games. PS4 when they were really fucking trolling Microsoft. Yeah. That was one of the funniest E3s. That was so good. Because we watched the Microsoft conference and we're like, oh, that sounds fine. Then we look at the internet, it's like, oh no, everybody hates this. Oh god. And then Sony's just there. Microsoft. Look at us, we've got discs. Yeah. Well, people might not remember about what the Xbox One was before Microsoft backpedaled and everything, where it was a Steam box. It was a Steam box. It was, and your disc would unlock a license. Yeah. It was basically just a physical license key. Yeah. It was, all the Kinects that were rolled into them. And the thing is that the PlayStation is now the PSVR is the Kinect if it was successful. Yes. Because they're it's just it's been there and the demand has just grown and grown to people wanting it. Yeah. As opposed to the Kinect where they really tried to force it in. They gave a reason for people to want a PlayStation Eye. Oh, yeah. Because they said, you need it for this VR thing. And so they're like, all right, we'll get one. I think it's just called the PlayStation Camera these days. Oh, okay. I think I was a PS3 thing. Yeah, I think that's long dead. Anyway, me PS2 thing. But I thought it was so strange. They came out obviously because they want to be ahead of the curve, but they didn't put anything to tantalize. Yeah, it's it sounds like a really good PS4. Yeah, I mean, maybe they thought the ray trace would get people excited. Is that going to get the layman excited? It's a blast processor. Maybe it's it's just going to be a thing that they can the tech that they can get behind and go, oh, this one, it's got the ray tracing without understanding what ray tracing is. I don't know. I'm not that excited for ray tracing. I've seen it in Metro, and I've seen it without it in Metro, and it looks nicer. like ray tracing at the end of the day, it just simplifies the pipeline. It can give us some better effects, but we've got so good at faking the effects.
Well, yeah, that's it.
But the thing is, it means that then like an indie game can have amazing fucking lighting and graphics because they don't actually have to do it. They just set it up like I'm setting up a film set. They build it and then they put the lights there and it works.
My understanding of how it works at the moment is it's like it has to be like processed offline or something like that. Like the Nvidia one. Like I don't believe it's a case of like you just flick it on and it works. Like, there's something where, like, the data... I might be completely wrong on this. This is just what I remember hearing about.
Like, ray tracing baked in somehow.
Yeah, it's like baking the lighting. It's like baking the ray tracing. And it's like... I don't know, it was some...
I don't know enough about that, but that sounds like the opposite of what ray tracing is supposed to do.
Yeah, well, no, it's like... You build the level and, there's some lump of data.
Which, they have to build some sort of like
I mean, baking is a thing that you do in games.
Oh, of course.
You bake down lighting.
Well, that was one of the big things when they were talking about Anthem. Every time they made any little change, it had to rebake the entire level, which meant you move one thing and it's 24 hours till you can test your level. Mm-hmm. Yes. Anyway, okay, so PS5.
Yeah.
Such a weird move. But, okay.
I'm sure. Yes.
Oh, I mean, like I'm excited. Just a strange move. I thought.
I like my PS4.
I would have been more excited for them to do their eventual reveal. I'm assuming at their own event later in the year, where they go, PS5, here's the new God of War, here's the new God of War in VR. Fuck us, we're great.
Well, maybe they kind of got this out of the way, and there's just going to be something exciting closer to E3.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they'll try to compete at E3 or they'll just do it later in the year at their own thing. Which could be anything because they've hosted just one-off events before. They don't really do PSX anymore. We'll see. Next, we had today new details on the update for Smash, which I think is out tomorrow our time. And that is Joker is in there from Persona 5. They detailed his moveset. It looks pretty funky. Mm-hmm. They got Persona level. They got
changes with the soundtrack changes.
Yeah, 11 songs from Persona in there, cool. Both 3, 4, and 5. Lots of cool fan service stuff, and then they went into just the overall updates that are coming to everybody, which include a stage builder.
That was completely unexpected.
Well, I mean, only if you just didn't read the rumor sites. It came out about 5 days ago.
I didn't. No, I thought that's really cool.
Like fucking data miners. Yeah, they get everything.
I always love kind of user creation stuff, and it looks like there's some decent curate.
Oh. They are pulling every... Oh, God, pay attention. They discovered my bin for the first time in years.
Puppies.
And they are pulling out like medicine boxes.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna fix this. I'm gonna disappear under the table. Watch James's face. Well, you can tell them more about the Smash update.
Oh.
There's no notes on my thing.
Well, yeah. So I guess it's just got like a level builder in there now. I thought one of the kind of the fancy things was it was using the actual touchscreen to kind of generate out the level.
Are you talking to me or the listeners?
Well, you're down there, so I'm kind of looking down at you.
I better go under the table. We can do some funny bits.
Oh.
Huh. That cum was delicious. Very subtle.
Yeah, I was very fast.
That's why I call you Speedy.
Good old Speedy Jim.
Yeah. I don't even have paper towels in my bin. I hate my dogs. I mean, I love them, but I hate them.
They're just like real kids.
No. I said I love them. There we go.
Out of your bin. Yes. So yeah, level creation tools. There's a bunch of creation stuff in there as well, I believe.
What? There's a what?
Like a bunch of kind of user creation and discovery stuff and...
Oh, yeah. A headphone popped out.
Okay, yeah, cool.
Yes, so cool things. So free drawing to make the levels, I think you were mentioning.
Yep.
You can do foreground, background, and obviously the midground, what you're fighting on. They've got items that are not in the base game. So they had like a teleporter you can put on the levels and stuff like that. So really cool. You can script things.
Yeah, I saw some stuff moving and things like that as well.
I was thinking, I wonder how because you know how some stages have some real like involved like movements.
Yeah. How
involved you can get, because I was sort of thinking you could make like a portal themed level. That'd be fun, like especially with the teleporters in there, like just platforms that move up and down and stuff. Like
so cool. Nintendo, how much are they going to actually moderate this?
They won't at all.
Yeah, dicks for everyone.
Well, yeah, maybe they will have a dick detector.
Too hard. That's what they figured out in Tetris.
Too hard.
Oh, Tetris in the Lego games.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But yes, they also have all the user sharing and curation tools and everything, which is very good to see, especially in that we got Mario Maker coming out later this year. It's nice to see some good tools coming through. But yeah, it's a pretty big update. And it's free.
I'm wondering how much of a shared backend there is with the Mario Maker stuff.
It's probably exactly the same.
Yeah. They probably figured out, like, oh, we've got this, like, content sharing backend. Oh, we probably can just,
Oh, and it's got a video editor in it as well now.
So we're going to get Machinima?
Yeah, well, they've updated this shitty Nintendo Online app on the phone, and they can access all those videos and everything wherever you are. Great. You'll never stop me from doing that, Nintendo, because I'll never start. Although I am technically subscribed now.
Oh, you have? You finally did it.
I used Amazon to get it for free. I was like, okay, I can do free.
Well, will people need it to access the content online? Okay.
100% they will. Okay. Just checking that there's nothing else Nintendo related. No. Okay. Did you see Capcom's new dumb thing?
No.
It's so fucking stupid. So they were like, people like these standalone console things now, right?
What have they done?
So coming out with 16 hot Capcom games, and the games are fun. It's like, Street Fighter and Alien vs Predator for the first time in a long time. Yeah. I believe there's big rights issues with that, and then a bunch of other mixtures of games. And it's not a bad idea. It's 2 fighting sticks, so full arcade sticks, 8 buttons, and they're it's like SMA or something. It's like very reputable hardware.
Plug them into the TV.
It plugs directly into the TV.
Okay,
unfortunately, it doesn't because the SMA. I'm saying SMA. I hope I'm saying the right thing. But anyway, the level of gear they're using, which is considered quite good, it's a pity that it can't then just be used as a controller for other devices, because that would be kind of useful.
How long before there's hacks to do that?
Well, I don't know if I've got the hookups for it. I mean, I suppose it would be doable, but you might just disconnect all the stuff that's in here. So you plug it in, it's play these games, but the form factor. What would the form factor be, James?
I assumed it's for 2 players.
I
mean, ideally it'd be 2 separate things, so I could have one.
No, it's just one long box.
It's one long box. Well, I assume it'd be roughly half the buttons on one side and half the buttons on the other side.
The layout is fine. Don't. That's not where it's the stupidest thing you've ever seen.
Okay. I like to think the cable's longer than a meter.
They didn't show the cable, but I think it's just a HDMI out, so you can be as long as you want. Okay. It's the Capcom logo.
What?
It's a long box, like that long, of the word Capcom, all cut in and out, so each side's differently.
That sounds terribly uncomfortable.
And like the buttons aren't they're just part of the logo, so they're just might have a bit of an M on it or something as it goes over. Like there's no coloring of the buttons or anything. It just says Capcom. You look this shit up. It's whack.
But the point of these retro throwback consoles is to make a little tiny thing that looks like the thing we remember.
Well, this isn't tiny, and it says Capcom. But
I think they've missed a very important part.
Here's the genius.
Yep.
You're having a games night at your house. People say, hey, let's play some Street Fighter 2. You're like, I know. Hey, Billy, can you go up to the attic and get the Capcom? You go, what does it look like? You say, you'll know. Yeah. That's stupid.
That's
it's
an
like
odd choice.
$250 US or something.
Okay.
It's it's not expensive for the hardware. It's apparently reasonable-ish.
Yeah.
It's such a weird thing. Who wants a big Capcom?
I don't.
No.
I don't want to be Capcom.
I mean, even if it was like the Nintendo logo, which is just like a symmetrical shape with then Nintendo in the middle of it. But no, it's just some oblong, just crazy cutout Capcom. Yeah. Why? Why did you do this, Capcom? You guys are crazy. Okay. A very brief note. Microsoft's press conference on June 9th. Will you be in the country, James?
June 9th? No.
Well, looks like no fun for you.
No.
I'll
just be
stuck on your fucking honeymoon,
yeah,
like a pussy. The Dreams Early Access has been released.
Yes,
it's not in every country, but it's in ours, so that's cool. I'm thinking of getting it because I have some ideas I want to try.
Yeah, I would like to help you make some things. I'm very curious to see what the collaboration tools are going to be like.
Yeah, well, that will be very once they start adding in more features for the group collaboration and the VR and all that stuff, could be very interesting.
Yeah, because I assume this stuff will all be stored online. So like, can you just make a project and have multiple people kind of join it?
Yes, that is how it works. Yeah, you literally inhabit the same physical space, but you can be doing different things. Yeah. A little note, because there wasn't a lot of news this week, so I just was throwing in things I like. My favorite Australian game developer, James Button.
So close.
Power Hoof have released their adventure game engine, Power Quest, with a whole lot of tutorials and everything around it, basically trying to make a new adventure game studio. But with
okay, I didn't realize they're working on that. That's cool.
I sent it to you, motherfucker.
Yeah, I miss
a lot of the things I send you.
I miss a lot of things.
Yeah, it's true. But cool stuff. They make cool adventure games, but but they're famous for action games. Yeah, but they love adventure games. So,
okay.
It seems really interesting. I was having a little look at some of the tutorials.
I've been playing a bunch of adventure games this week. Which we'll talk probably a little bit later.
Very soon, because that was the last bit of news.
Oh, okay. Well, I might as well just roll into that.
No. Yeah, sure. Okay. Whatever.
So I there was an adventure game that's embargoed that I played that I can't talk about for reasons that they don't want me to talk about. I don't know. But I enjoyed this adventure game that I played. And I thought, well, I want to talk about adventure games. So how about I play one that I can talk about, which was Beneath the Steel Sky.
Yes.
Which is a little bit relevant at the moment because we've got Beyond the Steel Sky coming out. And I remember as kids, we very much enjoyed when we were kids.
Oh, yes.
We both very much enjoyed Beneath the Steel Sky. So I wanted to see...
We also enjoyed munching on tin cans.
Yeah, so I wanted to see how well it held up. So Beneath the Steel Sky is an adventure game based on David Gibson. I think that's the comic authors. The comic...
Yeah, but it's not based on anything, I don't think. I think
he was involved in it, yeah. Which I think is kind of prolific back in the 90s. Is he still doing anything now? I don't know. Anyway, comic book guy.
I have been trying to track down the author of Cyberswine.
Oh, have you?
Because I have a few friends in the Australian comic book industry, and most of them didn't know who the fuck I was talking about. The last thing I see you published was 20 years ago, so... Before your time, how old are you? 20?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Anyway.
Yeah. So this is completely free. You can jump onto GOG and grab it and play it. There are some...
Or get it off Scum.
Well, if you do that, then... Because the joke of the name of the character is Robert Foster. The joke how he got his name is he's named after a can of Foster's.
Yes.
However, in the GOG version, they've changed it.
Huh?
It's like maybe they just couldn't use the brand Foster... Or Foster's.
I don't think they can stop you doing that. No, it's just a thing that exists.
No, it's changed. It says it says something Foster Garden root beer or something like that. It's completely different.
Oh.
Yeah, when they show the frame, it's but they still call you Foster, so they have to put the little word Foster in there somewhere. That was the main thing I noticed was different.
Well, fuck this game.
Yeah. I almost was out.
It's trash.
At that point.
It doesn't advertise Australia's most unremarkable beer.
I don't know if I've ever actually had a Foster's.
Do they sell it in this country?
I don't think you can just buy it in the stores. I think you have to go to a specialty shop to get Foster's.
I know you can buy VB, and I think I've even drunk one once.
I think I've had some. I think VB's all right.
It is a digestible liquid.
It will do its job.
Of being a liquid.
Being a liquid in a beer.
It is a non-toxic liquid. Well, toxic.
It is partly. It's kind of drinking it.
At most levels, non-lethal.
Yeah, it's a non-lethal toxic drink. Yes. So it's very interesting going back playing it because it's like a sci-fi kind of bit post-apocalyptic thing. And I remember what I liked about it as a kid was the story.
Yes.
That was and the characters.
I think I played it again about a little under 10 years ago. Yeah. And it was not as well written as I recalled.
Yes.
But I still thought it was okay.
Yeah, and that is kind of what I got out of it as well. I think, I remember the emotional impact I had with some of the characters and some of the events.
You mean Joey?
Joey. Well, actually, the Joey stuff was still actually all right. I'm thinking more...
Joey's the best character.
Yeah, he's your little robot buddy. But because the game's quite short, I think... You can clock it in about 3-4 hours. It's not that long.
Yeah. Took us longer because we were dumb kids. But
yeah, and also we just didn't have the internet for when you get stuck. And this time I probably used it walkthroughs maybe about 5 times, 4 or 5 times or something like that.
That's a lot of cheating.
And I don't give a fuck anymore about that. Especially when I'd look up the solution and be like, what, really? Because this game, I think it came after Lure of the Temptress. I think that was their previous game, and I think that was in Lure of the Temptress. Thank you. I think that one of the things was like the idea of like characters that walk around. Yeah. It's like they have like they walk around paths, so you never really know where a character's going to be because they have things to do.
A terrible idea for an adventure game.
And it, in a more limited form, does make its way into Beneath the Steel Sky. And for the most part, it's not a problem.
No.
Until you need your little friend Joey to solve a puzzle, and he's not there. So there were a few times where I got stuck, and I'd look at like the walkthrough and say, "Oh, just talk to Joey." Like, he's not here.
He's gone away.
Like, why would I talk to the robot that is not with me? So it had a few things like that. There was also some other just sort of like dumb timing puzzles, which literally you just had to wait in the room for like 2-3 minutes. I think there's like a jukebox you have to wait to skip. There's nothing to tell you it's going to skip. It's just you just have to wait. There's also a lot of puzzles which involve revisiting areas that have changed without really telling you that they've changed.
The one I hate most in that is Gabriel Knight 3, where it's just like every time the time moves forward, it's like, now just go back to every single fucking screen in the entire game and see what changed.
Yeah.
But that's only because moving in that game was shit.
Yeah.
The game that I really want to revisit, and I did a while ago when it was good, but I needed to spend more time with it, is Cruise for a Corpse. Because that was an old adventure game, which, I mean, technically you were driving a 3D character, although I think you still with mouse control. But that game is just on a clock, and people do what they do when they do it, and you either solve the mystery or you don't. And like, that was way too much for me as a kid.
Yeah,
but
it'd be interesting to go back to.
Yeah,
now.
especially since it's a small space.
Yeah. Well, I was surprised at how small the space in Beneath the Steel Sky is.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a big game.
No.
Like, there's really 3 tiers. Then the end. So it's kind of like 4 real zones that are in that game. So even though there were puzzles which involved going back to other areas, it was never that much. It did kind of reach a point where I was just sort of wanting to get through it, where I'd look at the solution to make sure I was going to the right place. Yeah. So it's like, okay, no, cool, I was right. Okay, cool, I'll walk back there. Because it doesn't have the modern double click. To kind of jump to get around.
So because I don't really have a lot to talk about it, I'm just going to throw in, I played through the Room 3 this week. You know, there's puzzle games on
the puzzle
phone?
box games.
Yeah. I mean, they are on other stuff as well, but I play them on phone.
Yeah.
And I had primarily a good time, but then at the end when you're sort of doing like the overall meta puzzle, and you're in sort of not a huge area, but all the spaces are physically a bit apart, and the camera has to physically move between each one, and you have to go back and forth. So I'm just there, fucking have a skip button. I do not care about your animation. Fucking hell. Anyway, how have you made 3 of these? And they've made, I think, 4 or 5 of them now. Like, have you added a fucking skip button?
You know, 7th Guest, you could, after a while, just skip those transitions.
Oh, God.
You get around pretty fast.
Like, why? Why? Other than that, I liked the game. Yeah. But that's my entire review of the Room 3.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? Those games, they have a real readability problem of what's interactable and what's not.
It's a problem for a puzzle box game.
Yeah, I think when the first game was just puzzle boxes, it was fine. But now that you walk around areas and like there's multiple things in a room and all that sort of stuff, sometimes it's just like I went to a walkthrough like 3 times in the game. And it was always like, check out the trapdoor. I'm like, what fucking trapdoor? It's like, I didn't have my brightness turned up enough. There's a thing in the corner that was non-obvious.
Oh, okay. So I'll tell you the dumbest puzzle in
Beneath the Steel Sky.
Beneath the Steel Sky.
Spoilers for near 30 years ago.
Yeah. So, there's at one point in the game where you get into a storeroom. And so you have to lift up this grating so that you can get access to some things. When you leave the storeroom, they're immediately taken away from you. They're confiscated from being stolen. So I think I'm done with the storeroom. Eventually I get stuck with what to do. I look at like, oh, no, there's a piece of putty in the storeroom underneath the grating. I lift it up, and it's like, it is the pixel hunt. Like, it is like, it's probably about 5 pixels tops.
Oh, if you were lucky.
Yeah. So you pick up this putty. I'm like, what do I do with this thing? I just don't know. Like, I'm stuck. I then just like randomly try putting it in like a socket at some point, because I was just doing the thing where I like
just combine everything.
Yeah. Which I then kind of turn on the switch and explodes. Turns out it's C4. The reason I was meant to know was that I was meant to use the putty on Joey. So he goes, that's not putty, that's C4. And then I could have made the connection to go, well, I guess I need to get into this cabinet and there's a light socket above it. Maybe I can put the putty in it and
you
then
know
turn
how
the switch
there's
on.
just C4 squidging around the place.
So that's like, for the most part, actually the puzzles were all right. Because I think even though, like, I don't remember, last I played it was probably about 20 years ago. So I'd forgotten pretty much everything. Yeah. And for the most part, the puzzles actually are quite logical. Yeah. There's just some in there that are like, yeah.
Yeah. So Beneath the Steel Sky, grab that for free
on GOG
or ScumVM,
which
might have the proper Foster's version.
Maybe, yeah.
Because it is genuinely free, not
totally. Yeah.
Okay, so another game came out this week, which is getting quite a bit of critical discussion and acclaim. But I think the sales are pretty low because last time I looked at the reviews on Android, there were like 3 of them. But that's because it's a premium game on mobile. And this game is Photographs Puzzle Stories.
I think it was like $6.
Something like that, Australian.
Yeah, on the App Store, something like that.
So this is by the company that made 10 million, and then you have to build a boat, which were fun sort of match 3 puzzle game things with some cool twists. This is nothing like that. This is an extremely narrative-focused game, which is basically 5 vignettes that are about 30 minutes each. And each vignette is a story that's also matched with puzzles, and that style of puzzle is different for each one. So you're going to go through 5 different types of puzzles throughout the game. Now, I said, did you get any chance to play through any of it at all, James?
No, it's downloaded.
Oh, good.
But no, I haven't had a look at it yet.
So, this game, I'm going to say right now, end of next episode, we are going to do a spoiler discussion on. So, if anyone would like to play it before then, I highly recommend it. I highly recommend this as a very, very interesting game. I'll go into a few broad comments of why here. But unfortunately, most of the interesting aspects of this game are story-based, and I do not want to delve too deeply into any of that. Also, I guess as a warning, this is not a happy game. Most of these stories are quite tragic. Well, I guess they all are, actually. But where this game is incredibly clever is one of the things that is often difficult in marrying puzzle games and story games is that puzzles are not really a very narrative-driven thing. It's like, yes, we've reached the puzzle now. Here's a stopgap and slide these tiles around. And yes, we can continue now. What this game does is integrates the puzzles intimately with the story going on. Okay, yeah. So the first story is about a relationship, and both. It's basically like a bit Sokoboni, but a sliding on a tile grid sort of thing. Now, when you move those one character, both characters move. So you have to move them throughout the grid to get both of them to a destination. And so I guess as a semi-spoiler without going into too much, there's an older character and a younger character. And one of the things that becomes very obvious is that the younger character only get to their destination by using the older character. So they have to support them to get there. And then the older character can get to their position. And now, as that relationship changes and everything, those things will be mixed and changed. But it's having like these people moving together in life and helping support each other. And, one person is obviously stronger in the care of the other and stuff like that. And that's where it begins. And as that story progresses, they add more mechanics and ideas into that, which is the storytelling. And all of the stories are like this. It's intimately integrated in the gameplay and the storytelling. And the storytelling itself is very, very good. All voice acted, and the voice acting is all really enjoyable. And I tend to have Bluetooth headphones in, so I actually heard it. Good music as well.
Is this a mobile only?
Yes.
Wow, I feel bad for them. Because not only is it premium, it's also like they spent money on audio.
I don't know. Like, it's one of those things where they did a good job, but I don't know if it's expensive.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, they would have spent some money on it, obviously, but it's not like they haven't got like fucking Nolan North in or something. But also, it's also just text as well, so you don't have to have it on. It's hard to say much else about it other than that it's very, very well put together, and each story is interesting and, as I say, sad. Then there's an actual ending of the game, which is something I cannot fucking even hint towards without spoiling sort of thing.
Is it... did you play Florence?
Yes.
Is it anything like... Because I wasn't that big on Florence, but...
See, this is a game.
Yeah, that's
Florence is an experience.
That's what I was going to ask, because like I thought Florence had mechanics I thought were interesting, particularly how the conversation mechanic worked. And I really appreciated how that mechanic was tightly integrated into what was going on. Is that kind of the kind of thing you're talking about? But it's sort of more gamey stuff there. Like
it's far more gamey.
Yeah.
So like it is a puzzle game. It's like there's nothing in Florence other than some pieces are shaped like puzzles.
Yeah.
There's no puzzles in Florence.
Yeah.
You can't get anything wrong in that game. This is like you're actually solving puzzles that can get relatively difficult. Not crazy difficult. I think most people should be able to do them. But and sometimes the rise and fall of difficulty is part of the story also. Yeah. Like you might be at the toughest. That's not the end of the story. It actually gets easy again before the puzzles run out. Stuff like that. So no, it's far more of a game. So each section basically works as they sort of have like a large sort of overview shot of where the story is taking place.
Yeah.
And it might say, here's where I grew up. And there's a little picture it's drawn in there. And then they'll just keep adding and changing that picture the whole time. So you're always looking at the same thing. So basically they'll do a little bit of story. You will then pull out a camera and it'll tell you to take a picture of something. So you've got to sort of look around the scene and find that thing. So there's a little bit of a hunt, nothing ever difficult, but there's a little. It's an excuse to examine the scene.
Yeah.
And then you take the photo. I didn't realize at some point the characters are actually looking at these photos from some point in history.
Yeah.
Because one of them's actually, I remember this photo. Yeah,
Okay,
I've never seen this before and stuff like that. And then you get to do a little puzzle, solve the puzzle, another bit of written story. The picture changes while that's going on. Take another photo, do another puzzle. It's probably like, I don't know, 10 to 15 puzzles per story.
Okay.
It's very well paced. It's a really, really interesting game. And I just feel like it's not going to get that much. Many people actually playing it. It's getting a lot of kudos.
Yeah.
Including some...
I wish it had a different title.
Yeah, it's a hard to find title.
Yeah.
It's premium. It's a short experience. Well, not that... I mean, it's short without being super short. In fact... God, no, I can't even talk about it. It might be really, really long, depending on how you play it. But it's getting some interesting discussion. And there's one, I think it's a Kotaku article where someone takes real offense to it. And I think that person is wrong. But I need more people to play it to talk about it. And it's very interesting because they're... I suppose as a very, very broad discussion, there are multiple endings to this game. And every single person I've seen comment on this game have all got the same ending.
Okay.
And it's not like something you actually... It's like... It's a very... It's kind of like, when you get like a Telltale game and you're like, oh yeah, I went for the hard choice. It says 99% of people chose the same as you did. It's like, what? Oh, I'm not unique at all. So there's lots of interesting things.
We'll talk
so
about it
sort of
next
as a mini game club next week. Yeah, it's really super interesting. I think it's a very, very successful game, and I will admit at least one point I did have a little tear, but I do cry easy.
You do.
I do cry easy. I am a huge wimp.
Yep.
It's true. Okay. Anything else you want to talk about now, James? I like how I hold the list up so you can remember what you played.
Oh yeah, because some stuff here I don't need to talk about.
Yeah.
Anno.
That's the new Anno, isn't it?
Yeah, it's new. Anno 1800s, the Industrial Revolution Anno.
Huh.
The dogs are doing something out there.
Well, my wife has returned home. I did not believe she would be home, but there she is. Hello, honey.
Hey, Lisa.
Yes, we're recording.
So Anno 1800. So it's a kind of like a city builder set in kind of Industrial Revolution. High emphasis trade. The Anno games have been around for a long time. It's one of those. It's one of those games that a bit like Total War, where I've bought a few of them in the past, but never actually kind of given them the time to kind of play. But they had open beta for the Anno 1800. Last week, so it wasn't going to cost me anything. So I thought, hey, I'll check it out. And I really enjoyed the open beta, which is why I decided to pick it up. Haven't had that much of a chance to play it yet, but I'll talk more about it later.
Okay, well that was great.
That was it. what I really liked in it, like aesthetically, it looks amazing.
Yeah.
You know, like it's a city builder, so I think kind of SimCity kind of thing. Not quite that macro, like you're a little bit closer. So if you zoom down the streets, you can see the people with the little carts pushing around. You can see like the people at the fire station, tending their fire truck.
Their fires.
Tending their fires. Like it's a very detailed world. And
this is where we station the fires. Yes.
Fires.
Put it in the pile.
Here
with the rest of the fire.
A little bit like you were saying with photographs.
Photographs. What a great name.
Photographs. How they do some things to get you to examine the scene. So they have like these little things where it's like, oh, find the protesters or something, or find the stray dogs. It's super easy, but it gets you to go in and look around.
I'm a really big fan of, like, I guess it's partly like the hidden object concept, but just like giving people stuff and then just saying, find this thing, or like cryptic clues towards it and everything, like, because I think sometimes now games are getting like so amazingly detailed, and we don't notice a lot of the detail.
It forces me to go in and you look at the world and you're like, oh yeah, like it's
get an idea what's going on.
Part of what makes this game so charming. It's like it's a pet game. It's an ant farm game, right? Like you want to build up your little thing, and taking the time to appreciate it is good. Just seeing them all walk around and things like that. What I've really liked though is the kind of whole UX experience, because the game is really about converting resources to other resources and then managing people to convert those resources for you. Like, at a very high level, that's what you're doing. So the way they break it down when you're building things is actually by worker class. So you have like one tab which is the farmers and one tab which is the workers. And so it's almost like you work up the progression is more classes of workers. And the farmers are quite easy to please. Like they'll have sort of like, say they want clothes, they want fish, and they want access to the market, and they want gin or something like that, or the schnapps or something. There's like something like there'll be like, I think it's like 3 or 4 demands.
Schnapps is too sweet,
but they don't really need that many. So you do like your farm jobs, and when you say like, I want timber, for example, to build stuff. So there'll be a little picture of a log, and you click the little picture of the log, and it'll have like one icon which is the log and one icon which is the timber, and a little arrow that points towards it. You click on one, you build the generator for that. You click on the other one, you build the consumer for that. Like, it's just very easy to understand what's going on. Any point you look at your marketplace, you can see all of your resources, and you can see like, oh, okay, this one's got the little up arrow, this is the little down arrow. This is blocked because it's not building over here. Like, it's just really easy to understand what's going on. And so it's the UX is so cleanly made. Like when you place a building, you'll see the little path of like how they're going to get there, so you can go, oh, this is quite close. Or if you're
not going to accidentally place it and find out that there's no entry points, and it's shit like that.
If you have a consumer and it's close enough to like the suppliers, there'll be little ticks on them. So it's like, oh, okay, it's close enough. They have to get there. If they're not close enough, then you got to put down marketplaces. The marketplaces are basically magical teleporters, so you can just like, all resources are shared between the marketplace. So it's just, it's like, okay, so I'll put a marketplace over here, warehouse over here. That's going to get the resources over here.
I want to manage the wagons.
Yeah. You kind of do a little bit, like where you put the roads down. Better roads, they move faster. It's a very clean system. Like, I think a lot of the times in these games, there's maybe like Civ. Like, Civilization, I'm always completely overwhelmed and terrified of when I look at it. Like, there's a lot of complexity there that I just don't. I just can't be bothered learning. It's just too much effort. Where I feel this game, there's a fair bit of complexity with how it all fits together, but I see the system. I understand how it works, and because I can see the system, then my decisions become more meaningful. So something is like, because the game's about upgrading classes of workers, you do end up naturally catering, like creating slums and things like that. Because if you have you have farms that go to workers. And the moment you convert them, then you lose farmers. So you tend to have once all the farmers' needs are met, you can upgrade them to workers. But then it's like, oh, well, I've got all these workers. I still need farmers to get the timber and everything. So I'm just going to build some kind of cheap housing out in the sticks. Yeah. And so I just kind of like that just naturally through the design of the systems, I started having neighborhoods and kind of things like that. I started having farming districts because I would need to go grow a bunch of trees or a bunch of wheat. I have to put that, have big roads off to the side because I need lots of land. It's just a really relaxing kind of chill experience of like building up this system. I know that like there's some like light RTS elements in there. Like you do get combat ships and things. I think you fight off pirates and stuff like that. I haven't gotten too much to like naval combat, but it's there.
It's not a focus.
Yeah, like it's more likely, you eventually you have different islands where like there'll be different, like certain resources will only be on certain islands. So you need to like, I need this resource from over here. Or maybe you just want to trade it. Like, it's got this nice system where if you just select your marketplace, you can see all your resources, you can click it, and then set the level at which you either want to sell to, buy to, or trade to. So if you just want to say, I just want to have a constant level of like half, like 50 of these things, regardless of whether I'm consuming it or not, it'll just like trade it to that. Like it's just super nice. Like that's what like I've really liked about it. It's just
really
like,
streamlined and understandable.
I mean, this is like their 6th game that they've done. Like, I think there's been a few of them, and just the setting's nice. Like that kind of 1800s. I played a little bit of Anno 2070, and just the whole sci-fi thing. It took itself quite seriously. This one's like it, like it's still serious, but it's not. It's still like kind of fun. Like like it's.
Pork pie, my lady.
Yeah, like that kind of stuff. Like that's the kind of dialogue you're going to get when you click on the pork pie shop. Well, it's actually a pork sausage shop. You got to build your pigs and you got to build your sausage shop.
Got to get some pastry in there. Yeah. Cool. Fabulous. Okay. I played Gears Pop.
Forgot that you did. How fantastic was that?
So I lit it up Gears Pop, and it is. I'm going to assume it's like Clash of Clans. I can't say because I've never played Clash of Clans. Never seen it. Don't know what it does.
Oh, you mean Clash Royale?
They're different games, but they're in the same thing.
I think Clash of Clans, I thought, was more of your town builder.
Well, I thought it'd be maybe it's
I think Clash Royale. I think is.
As I said, I've never seen.
It's where it's like two kind of things heading at each other. Like
that sounds like
Clash
Royale.
Yeah.
Okay, and there's chest high walls on like 2 lanes.
No, they're really nailing that Gears of War.
Yeah. So you've got multiple lanes, and you just get resources up, and units cost resources, and it's a little bit of a card thing because you have to work out your deck, and it cycles, but you can only put up like 5 units at once, and there's 10 units in your deck, so they cycle through. And anyway, it's really only player versus player, and I played, and I was on a real win streak, and then I'm like, okay, I filled up all of my chest opening wait timers, and I was like, well, I guess I'll stop playing then, because what's the point if I can't get any more chests? And then I came back, and I lost a game.
Never play again.
And then I was like, how does all this work anyway? Okay, so I get the stuff out of the chests, and then I can get cards, and then I can upgrade my unit so that so if I upgrade this unit, I guess it does it cost more then because it's more powerful? Oh no, it just gets stronger. So this game really is like the more you play and the more you pay, just your units are better. Hey, that's what the game is? Man, this is a terrible system. What's interesting about this? Oh well, deleted.
Yeah.
I assume that's the entire marketplace. As soon as as a fast strategy game, in concept it seemed fine. As soon as I realized that you're just upgrading units the whole time, and there's no balance to that, other than I assume there's an overall power balance, and you only match with people within a certain parameters.
I think that's generally how it works.
But what's the point? It's like, I've played enough that now I'm being matched with people that played about the same amount as me. Has the strategy got any more interesting? No. It's things just have bigger numbers next to them.
I've never really got that much into the Clash Royale style things.
Gears Pop, thank you.
Gears Pop, yeah.
It's an original concept.
I didn't
mind Modeled Mark.
I didn't mind Dominations, like in terms of like something which is that same kind of like, you're upgrading things to make them more powerful, but at least it has an upgrade path which gives you new mechanics. Yeah. So it's like,
I mean, like things there are a lot of cards that you can put down. You're being both. What were the good guys in Gears of War called? Cogs?
I think Cogs and
Cogs and the Locust. Like you can mix and match because they're all friends now apparently. I mean, there seem to be a lot of things you can collect and upgrade and pay money for.
It's honestly, I'd probably check it out, but the pop thing just loses me.
Oh, it is meaningless.
Yeah,
it is effectively nothing. The whole point of the pop relation, other than the fact that
I don't like the proportions. I just don't like the design of pops.
When you open up the loot boxes, they come in the little pop things, which is funny. But the thing is, all it means is that the characters, because they have big heads, they're a little bit more readable on the screen as if you made them at proper proportions. Because that would be hard to see. Like, when they're basically just icons moving around. It's I'm done. Yeah. I played it for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. I think they had a good run out of me. I'm just never ever going to be interested in that kind of game. It's like it's a constant grind towards nothing.
Yeah, I think especially when they get very PvP focused. Yeah, because I don't mind the city builder ones. Like I played a bit of Clash of Clans. I played a bit. There was a Star Wars one, which they're all the same. Like they're all the same thing.
Yeah.
About the only one I felt had any real meat was probably Dominations. Because then it's like at least you're moving through kind of history and like you're getting more advanced units which do different things. And in that one, when you attack other people, you have some control over what they're doing.
Yeah.
Which I think is more of a common thing these days. It used to be Clash of Clans, is you pick where they start, and then they just AI takes care of the rest.
Actually, sorry, just dying. One of the things I thought was strange was that I saw an article because no one's really talking about this. I'm like, oh, is that and it is a soft launch. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure where it is and stuff. It just seems to be, but they were saying, oh yeah, what's different between it and other games like it is the focus on cover. But only some units take cover. And once the next thing's cleared, they just automatically move forward anyway. Yeah. You can't control that.
I am very skeptical this thing is going to do well at all. Like it's like one of the things you got to be real careful for in mobile is being too nichey, especially for these kind of mass market games. And it's one thing to take if they're taking Gears of War. So imagine the Venn diagram. You got Gears of War, you have Clash Royale, and then you have Vinyl Pop. And that little segment in the middle, that's who this is for. And it just seems like that. It just seems like a bad move. And unless like those like Gears of War and Vinyl Pop are
just the same. They're just it's
a single circle. I don't believe it is. In fact, I thought the whole Pop business model was massive spread, so you can find the three things that everyone wants.
Yeah, it's almost like you imagine if Pop was going to start partnering with things, it would be like Pop Universe.
It would make so much more sense to me. It was Pop Universe. Then it would make total sense because people are going to be, I want the, but I imagine it's like a licensing nightmare. But yeah, like I want my Marty McFly, or I want my. You say that,
except for the fact that that's already their business.
Yeah, like if they already had the rights to do that, or could they? Yeah, like that'd be kind of awesome. Like actually thinking about that now, bringing together that many licenses into like some kind of like collectible game where they fight each other. Yeah, I'll probably check that out. Like, that's like, oh yeah, I'll watch like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man versus, I don't know, Shredder. Solid Snake or Shredder. Yeah, there you go. Like, I will watch these two things fight. This sounds fun. Random Gears of War characters.
There was that online fighting betting game, which would just sort of like random roll like hundreds of thousands. Just like generated characters and you bet on them, and they're just like they take the sprites from anything and mix them out. I can't remember what it was called though.
Sure.
It was very cool. Yeah, it's basically Anyway, I'm going to move on because this is going to be a real tenuous link to something we were just talking about.
Oh, okay.
Which was you saying it would be so much better if.
Okay.
I played Falcon Age.
Okay.
Falcon Age is a PlayStation title, PlayStation VR, very heavy, but you can play it without. I haven't played it without, but that might be the only way I'm interested in ever playing it again.
Really?
I hate it. I think it sucks. I think it's crap and bullshit and a crappy game.
Yeah.
Made by probably bad people who are bad at games. I'm a little bit of hyperbole there. A tad. So this game seems like, okay, so Paul has a big hard on. Oh, let's not exaggerate. Has a hard on for VR at the moment. He loves it.
Yeah.
Paul's also huge sucker for animals.
You so do love your puppies?
I do. So here is a game where you have to care after a little falcon, which grows up into a big falcon. Great. This seems like a really good thing. The VR integration, which is one of the primary focuses of the design, is terrible. I hate it. I hate everything about it.
I thought you'd be the falcon.
No. I'll get to that later.
Okay.
But so you're a person. So okay, I'm just going to do a couple of examples of things that I hated. So the very first thing in the game, you're looking from the window where the falcon is, and your character starts in a cell. You're sort of in a concentration camp style thing, and you see your character sleeping. What do you do in VR, James?
So I'm the bird seeing.
No. Your viewpoint is from the window.
I'm looking in.
You're looking in, and characters on the bed. And it is
I'll put my head through the bars.
It is going to tell you to do something in a second.
Yeah.
Well, pull the trigger to wake up. Why? What? Because it's a first-person game.
See, because the first thing I thought I'd do is if I'm just outside the bars, I'd try and clip through things.
Yeah. The game. Don't worry. The game has heaps of clipping through things. Okay. Don't worry. So it's just like, what's that interaction? And so most games use the triggers as the hands closing if it's a first-person thing, and this game is no different. But it's also the select button. Why? There's other buttons. I'm so confused by so many things in the game. It has a pouch on the side where if you pick something, you can put it in your pouch. But you can't take stuff out of the pouch. You've got to push a button that opens up a menu. And
so you don't put the hand back to pull it out, but you put the...
Yeah. You go outside and you're tasked with breaking some rocks. It says pick up your pickaxe. So you pick it up off a table. And you put it in a little holster and you swing it. Take it and it says, go back to your bedroom. Okay, can't go in the door. The door's not open. Open up the objectives list. You got to put the pickaxe back. Can't put it back on the table. There's a holder on the wall for the pickaxe. Okay. Next morning you wake up and say, go outside, pick up your pickaxe, break some marks. It's on the fucking table.
But you put it on the holder.
Why is it like... I didn't know about the holder because it wasn't in there. Yeah. Why is it back? Why? Yeah. These things are minor. These things shouldn't matter. But this is just my entire experience with everything. It's by default, it's teleporting. And, it's rotating with buttons. It's a snap to. But it's set to 30 degrees at first, which means to turn around, it's like, it's like, it's you got to push it 6 times to turn 180. Yeah. And say, okay, so I turned it up to 90. Still takes 6 buttons. It doesn't affect anything. Fucking menus doesn't work.
Yeah, okay.
Someone didn't QA that fucking thing. And these are all so anyway. Ignoring all this shit that I actually I drive around in the game. It's less annoying than even if it makes me a little bit motion sick. I'm like, no, I'll just drive because interacting with things everything's the slightly wrong scale. But anyway, so what happens is the mother bird attacks this robot and gets killed, and so the baby bird falls down. And you're like, I'm gonna look after you, baby bird, and I pick it up and go, hello, put it down. Chuck it down. It's all right. Anything you chuck away just immediately reappears where it's supposed to be. Very immersive. And it's like, feed the bird. And you call the bird by putting your hand up to your mouth, and I think you have to push it. I can't remember if you push a button. I think you push a button, but that's okay. And it goes, and it flies over. It gets in your hand. Didn't realize I have to keep holding the trigger. It just flies away. But okay, for some reason, that's part of the problem. The bird isn't a bird. The bird is a tool. Yeah. It just operates by buttons. Anyway, so I got the bird. Hello, pick up a piece of food. Here you go, birdie. I'll give you another. Oh no, that objective's complete. It won't eat anymore.
But you want to keep feeding the bird?
Nope. Enough feeding the bird.
Can you pat the
objectives?
Bird?
Yes.
Okay.
Just sort of poke at it. It says, bird successfully patted. Great. Fuck off again now until I need to point you at something and use you as a tool, I guess. There's no relationship being built up here. It's also mechanical and nothing feels natural. And I'm barely into the game because I just am not having a good time at all. Apparently there's some funny characters that come up.
Here's my proposal, knowing nothing about this game. So
I hope it's the same as my proposal to fix this game.
So you wake up in the cell. You are in the cell, camera, whatever. You're on the bed, yes.
It doesn't start pointlessly from a third-person perspective.
You're sitting there in your cell, and you're feeling kind of miserable. And you hear a chirping. And you look up and you see a little bird there. If you walk up to go touch the bird, it flies away.
Yes.
It's like, okay, all right. Next day, bird comes in. You hear the chirping again. Like, okay, I got some breadcrumbs. I'm going to put a little bit on the windowsill. Yeah, put a little bit on the windowsill. Bird kind of eats it. Go to pet the bird again, flies away.
Of course.
Yeah. Iterate on building trust. Learn to love the bird.
And that's it. It's like, yeah.
Is this your pitch for the same thing?
No. My pitch is much better. But no, you're doing this game right.
Yeah.
My pitch is a different game. And it's like, building up this relationship, some trust and everything. You help it grow up.
Yeah.
You become powerful and everything. Like it then gets injured or something and you have to then protect it and nurse it back to health and everything. Like, it's a real, you can see where these plot lines would go.
Yeah.
But it's all so mechanical and joyless, and movement and the world design is all just so uninspired and uninteresting. And as I said, it just feels so stiff.
Yeah.
And that's part of the joy of VR when it's done properly. Interaction should feel natural, and you shouldn't have to think of everything so mechanically as a video game. It should start becoming an extension of you as a body.
Well, it's meant to be virtual reality.
Yeah, especially when it's first-person stuff for that.
And these are things meant to be extensions of your hands where you're grabbing things. And
they just go through everything, and it's like nothing reacts to you. They're all just buttons. It's like you just point generally towards something. The hand doesn't even touch it and push the use button. And it operates like the food thing. You push it the first day, feed yourself, pick it up. Oh, you could never eat anything again, as far as I've seen in the game. I just pick it up and put it in my face. It does nothing. I'm like, well, it's like I don't need to be the eating simulator, but I want reaction in the world. And if I throw, as I say, if I throw that thing on the ground, it just reappears on the table. Like this isn't anything.
Yeah.
But here was my pitch. In a world of giant birds, you're a baby in a nest.
Okay, yep.
A human baby. Your parent is killed by a robot. And then you are raised by giant birds.
Very different game.
It's like Jungle Book.
But birds.
Giant birds. And the birds can talk.
I think you're either way with their ideas. I think they both have merit.
Pretty good. I'm gonna try to play it a bit more so you get into it because I haven't even got to the combat or anything. But
there's combat in this bird game.
Yeah, you can play it without combat as well. Though.
Yeah,
there's an option on the main menu. I chose the wrong one at first because the main menu is badly designed. So many just things that could be fixed. Oh, like literally so many things. I'm just like, boy, I bet fixing that thing would just be like. You'd submit the bug report and the next build would be fixed. It's just like they just have to move the text slightly or something. Like, why does this appear on the side? I want it to appear in front of me. Okay, I guess got to turn my head all the time and I get a sore neck. Like, so many. Why is this so low? It should be. Why when I'm in front of I'm standing as close as physically possible to the bin that I have to put the rocks I've collected in. Why is it when I'm standing as close as possible and I reach forward with my hand, the limit of where the hand can go isn't far enough to get into the bin. I have to throw it just slightly, like an inch.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's just like I just can't put it in and drop it because the hand stops moving a foot in front of me and it's a foot and a half away.
Yeah.
It's like, but my arm reaches that further and the hand just stops moving. It's just like so many things that are just like, fuck. This game should be better, and it's getting average reviews, but it deserves better reviews. Anyway. So yeah, that said, I also played another bird game. Played Feather on the Switch.
How was that?
You fly around an island.
And?
That's it. That's the game. There's it's supposed to be a relaxing thing. Like there's literally no goals. But also, if you accidentally fly the bird into something, it just rewinds slightly. Like the bird doesn't react or anything. It just it's like when I was making flying games when I was first learning the program,
backs up or something.
And you're because you didn't collision detection was I don't really know how to do this, so you just teleport the person away or whatever. It's I mean, I suppose I was collision detecting. I just wasn't doing anything in reaction to it. I'm okay, so you can't accidentally clip something or anything. Not that you want to do that, but just there's nothing reacts to you in the world.
Yeah.
If you touch something, you just get reversed up. And sometimes you get in weird positions because it reverses up, but you're already in line with something, so it just keeps jiggling back and forth. If you want a good flying game, I recommend that Eagle Flight on
the Ubisoft one. Yeah.
That game's fucking amazing. It flies so naturally. Also, the Switch, the Feather, it runs at sub 30 frames. Probably runs at 20 frames.
It's not doing anything.
It's like flat shaded polygons.
Yeah.
And there's no physics or anything going on. It's like this shit. If this is going to be a relaxing experience, this needs to be 60.
I'm gonna say bad devs.
Yeah, I did not think.
I think if you're what's it, flat shaded?
Yeah, just flat shaded polygons
with nothing but a thing flying around is running sub 60. Yeah, get better.
Yeah, but yeah, play Eagle Flight because that game is cool. You can be really exciting down in tunnels and fast stuff, or you can just fly around post-apocalyptic Paris looking at animals. And sometimes they do both. Plus, it's pretty.
Is that on is that only console or is it?
I can't comment.
Yeah.
I would be surprised if it was only because it is Ubisoft.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I wouldn't be shocked if it's on PC. But it's maybe not heavily advertised. But then it wasn't that heavily advertised on PSVR. James. Do we dare?
We can talk about it quickly.
Would you like to say the name of this game?
No. Where is Joan?
Or where is Joanne? Either way, it's misspelt.
Yeah.
Because it has two N's at the end of Joan.
Joann.
Or it misses an A at the end of Joanne. Why do we know this game exists, James?
Someone in the Discord, I believe it was Michael, posted it. I think because it was posted in like a indie promo page on Facebook. And then you found it, I believe, on Game Jolt or something like that.
The weirdest thing was I tried finding it again today to download the demo to play because I thought I'd get in on this too. Yeah. It was ungoogleable.
I couldn't find it.
I had to go back to my own post in the Discord to find the link.
So, where is Joanne? So I would describe it as a first-person puzzle labyrinth game.
It's a maze game.
It's a maze game, yes. Which is aesthetically trying to be N64.
Would you say?
Yes, because that's what their site says.
Oh, they do not know what N64 looks like.
But they don't quite understand that making something match an aesthetic style, like a retro style, is more than just making it look a bit crap.
Yeah.
So it's when you look at it, you don't think, oh, they're trying to look like an N64. You just think it looks a bit rubbish.
So this game begins. You get home. Where is Joan now?
I don't know where she is.
Where is she in the kitchen? Well, the shopping is here. You comment as text as you move close to the shopping. Okay, and you walk to the end. And what I love about this house is that at the end of the hallway that you open in is your bedroom with the bed directly in view of the opening door, which is, I don't believe I've ever seen a house designed as such.
Most people won't do that.
I do like to see the front door from my bed. And you go in the room and then a magic portal opens and you go into a magic world.
Magic maze thing.
And it's you get there and there's a courtyard. And in the courtyard there are 4 statues. And each of these statues... Did you investigate the statues, James?
They have backwards writing.
How did you crack the code?
I read it backwards. Something about throwing a rock at a gargoyle. Or...
You have to throw the rocks at the gargoyle to beat it in the first labyrinth.
Yeah.
You have to destroy all the gems in the second labyrinth to kill the snake. Yeah. I don't know if the other ones are detailed yet, but they're not in the demo, so you can't do it. So here's the thing, James. I had fun with this demo.
I did too. So I enjoyed it until I didn't.
Yeah.
So
I basically had fun, and then I suddenly was not anymore, and I stopped playing.
So I liked the little bit, like, I actually didn't mind the house, like, just looking at it, like, it was, like, whatever, it was there.
It's all very cheap.
Yeah. And then you go down to the entrance to the labyrinth, where you're kind of in that big courtyard. I liked there were gems for some reason.
Well, there's stores.
Well, I didn't get to the store, because I died a lot.
Oh.
So I picked up a bunch of gems, and this is where it really lost me, because like I actually was having an alright time with it. Because I like
you got your sword, right?
Yeah, I got the sword.
Oh, good. And they've got drink me potions,
which
make you big and small.
I enjoyed that. I liked that, there was like that kind of playing with scale, and you go in and you do some things and go out. Actually, it was fine. Where it started to lose me was where they started trying to add game, and it was just a bad game. I mean, just like mechanically, it just wasn't working. So I think the bombs were where it first started to lose me. Because you can pick up these bombs, and I throw it, and I kept taking damage when they exploded, but I couldn't figure out what the radius was on the bomb to avoid taking damage.
Oh, yeah.
And actually, I threw a few to try and figure it out until it's down to one health. It's like, I probably should stop doing this now.
I like how the health is like 3.
Yeah. But then I think sometimes when I throw a bomb, it would look like I take damage. Like it was like the screen effect.
Yeah. They put an explosion like sprite in the middle of the screen, even if you don't take damage.
Yeah, and this is where things were like kind of falling apart. And then I think I got to like fighting a giant plant. And
there's a few of those.
And I was like throwing bombs at it, and that seemed to be the only way to kill it, because when I went out with my sword, it was like there was no cooldown on damage. And so...
But there's also no cooldown on you swinging your sword. so you swing as fast as you click.
So
you die real fast, buddy.
I started dying real fast. And
we need to make a little macro that just clicks the mouse really fast, and then you just murder everything instantaneously.
Because I basically lost all my gems. Because every time you die, it'd take a penalty. Like, it must have just been like a percentage to resurrect. And I just kept dying. And then at some point, I'm like, I'm just going to see what happens, like... to the gem count if I keep doing it. But because like it's always fractional, after a while it's like you've lost like 0 gems, but then it wouldn't like it was like the rounding wasn't right. So like the numbers were never matching up or anything like that. And so I got to the point where I was out of money and I'm like, nah, I'm out. Like that was sort of where it lost me.
I tell you what.
Yeah.
I got back into selling Steam cards this last 2 days.
Yeah.
After they've changed the currency to Australia, they take a slightly bigger cut of the transfer. It's now basically because they round it, and we're talking because they can't do fractions of cents. Yeah. So instead of a 1 cent cut, it's a 2 cent cut.
That makes a big difference with them,
especially when you're selling a 4 cent card.
Yeah.
It's like, this is 50% of my profit. God damn you, monsters!
I thought you were going to say that you got Where Is Joe on Steam.
No, I did not.
And you got a bunch of cards.
No, like I don't know why we really know this or talk about it. It is interesting though. It's like it is what we would class as trash tier. It is just like some stuff that some people have thrown together without a clear plan. But there actually was some fun things in it.
Yeah, I think like it seemed like someone who, if they did more of this, will probably be okay at making games. Like it wasn't like I'd never call it trash tier as I would more like.
Well, trash tier is just a very, very cheap game.
Yeah,
that's a bit shoddily put together.
It feels like someone's first or second game.
Yeah.
But
I don't use trash tier as a particular insult.
Yeah.
It's just a description of where it sits in the hierarchy.
Like it's a thing that you can play with a loop that doesn't feel like an asset flip. Like even though there's certain things in there which I like, you just kind of got this asset and put it in. Like
if someone had this as an assignment. They get pretty good marks.
They will get very good marks. Yeah, like you can tell, like with the little character that follows him around. Like,
oh yeah, I like you.
Yeah, like
there's a friend.
There's a little buddy, and there's like it's a character with writing. Like you can tell that this person was. They cared about writing this character.
Yeah, it's not done dispassionately.
No, someone gave a shit.
Yeah,
like when they made it. So that's why, like, I don't want to shit on it too much because I can tell, like, this person is talented and driven that they can make this to start off with.
Hey, we both had fun with it until we stopped.
But they have a long way to go.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
it's a promising. It's the next Suda 50 work.
Yeah.
Okay. Other things. Now, I did start playing Heaven's Gate, the new Inkle game.
Oh yeah.
But I've played such little of it that I can't, because it's so based on its writing that it seems. But so far, I was playing it when James came in, and I was discovering things as I was playing. So you're playing this character. It starts in the desert, then it flashes back a little bit to you go to this university, basically finding out what you're going to be doing for the game. And you are a researcher, a historian of types. And what I noticed very quickly was, when I would see something or have a conversation or notice something, I get a little thing saying, push tab for the timeline. I hit tab, and this seems to be that it's going to be a major focus of the game, and I'll talk about it more next time. And it would have like the thing I just saw on the timeline of fucking history.
Yeah.
And you could zoom into like, this happened 14 seconds ago, and zoom out to this happened 7,000 years ago.
Yeah.
And so I assume as we're playing through the game, we are going to be learning and discovering the entire mythical history of this place.
Which I like, that there's a place you can go to see the big picture of what everything is.
Yeah.
It's a cool idea.
It's like the total perspective vortex.
Yes.
Yeah, it seems very interesting. It's a very strange style. It's a 3D world, but all the characters are sprites. So they sort of flick around a little bit, but they move around in there, and they just, as they do like turn an eighth, they just change to a different sprite and everything. It's one of those things that seems like it's a very deliberate style choice, because the fact that they try to, I think they do about an eighth of a rotation. It's actually a shitload of work.
It's like a Doom billboarded sprite.
Yeah. It's like, you got to do it every animation from 8 different. Well, I suppose 4, because you can then flip it. Oh no, because they're not symmetrical characters. So yeah, it's like a lot of work, and Like, man, you went for a real thing here. It's really interesting so far. But yeah, I'll talk more about Heaven's Gate next week. Or next fortnight. Yeah, I also played an Explosion Man on the Switch. I just wanted to see if it was still good.
Is it still good?
It's still good. I want to play it with 4 people again. Because the games
need to have an Explosion Man night.
Yeah, Explosion. Cool. Was there anything else you wanted to mention?
Nah, I'm pretty good.
Okay.
I'd like to talk about that adventure game I played.
But you're not.
But I'm not.
To. Well, I hope you all hearing about that game you're not allowed to buy. Hopefully, Katana Zero gets resubmitted and gets because it, as I said, while there's extreme content, it's not enough to not be allowed to be.
But I mean, that's the Australian way, right? Like it'll be something.
It'll be a very specific, pedantic.
Yeah, and they'll change that one thing, and then it'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the time with it, I think Bug Butcher did eventually come through because just they resubmitted it and someone else looked at it and said, "That's stupid."
Yeah,
that's a dumb reason to not let a game through. You've obviously misinterpreted this, and hopefully that's a bit here too. Because whilst I said what I suggested would be your sexual violence being the closest, like it's a suggestion of, and then
and I think it really needs to be depiction.
Yeah, it needs to be a depiction of. Yeah, but it'll be interesting to see what it was actually banned for. But apparently we're not allowed to see it till the election. What the heck? I might I don't know if I can stretch that relationship to let them tell me, because I feel if they knew if they wanted to tell, they would have told.
Yes, yeah.
It'd
be frustrating if they don't know.
I mean, they would know.
Yeah,
but they may not want to say, because partly it could be story. There is one that I'm thinking of in my head that's very story. Like it could have been because of that, but it's almost the ending of the game. It's like, well, not fucking talking about that. Yeah. It's a very cool universe, that game. I do like it. Remember I used to do picks of the week?
Oh yeah. You want to do some picks?
Oh, what's your pick of the week, James?
Oh, where is Joan? No. I'd probably say my pick of the week. I'm going to say Echo.
Okay.
Because I think it's the most interesting of the week.
James's pick of the week. My pick of the week is my love for my fellow man. You're so shallow, James.
Oh.
Well, thank you for watching and listening.
Oh, you're not going to pick a thing.
No, the whole thing was just a joke.
Oh, it holds a setup to make you...
God, Katana Zero.
There we go.
Or photographs.
No, pick one.
Katana Zero.
Okay.
Because it lasted longer. And it's cool.
It has a better name.
And it's got super violence. And oh man, there are some really good moments in that game that I would just love. Because you know when you're playing a game and you're like, oh, fuck, that's cool.
Yeah.
Now, here's the world's smallest violin playing for me. So you get... we get quite a bit of privilege in that as we have media contents and we do this stupid show that 3 people listen to, we get sent codes, which means I'm often playing games pre-release, and also you can't talk to anyone other than people that are also playing the game pre-release, which is normally a small list and we don't really know that many people that do it. So a cool fucking thing happens in a video game. Who the fuck do I
you talk to about?
No one.
Yeah.
Even you, like, we're very rarely playing the same games.
Yeah.
Okay, let me tell you this cool thing that happens halfway through this game that you should play, by the way. It's very good. But let me spoil it for you now. It's like, aww.
There we go. There's a tiny violin for you, bud.
I remember I was playing The Aquatic Adventures of the Last Human.
Oh, yeah.
And it was really hard. And I was like, I need to look up some tips.
No.
Fuck, it's pre-release. I don't know how to beat this squid. My life is hard. Thank you for watching and listening to 8.5bit.com. You can head to our website, 8.5bit. Our Twitter, Facebook. Like and share anything you like there. Subscribe to us on whatever the hell you want. And join our Discord if you want to have some random fun. I believe some porn of Clippy was posted this evening.
Oh, I haven't checked that out yet. Yeah, I'll go... It
was quite creative.
Okay.
Because that was we were talking about what's going to be the next Smash Brothers reveal.
Oh,
and I said they're definitely going to do a Microsoft one. One of them, like, that may not be the next one, but I assume because if they don't say it straight away, they'll do the next one at E3.
Yeah. And
Microsoft's going to do a bunch of Nintendo stuff, no doubt. So I totally see them.
So there'll be Master Chief in there.
So there'll be a Master Chief, but also we get the possibility of Blinks, or maybe the cast of Brute Force, or Clippy. Clippy would be
Clippy
good.
would actually fit.
Clippy would blow the fucking minds of everyone.
But that is
so much better than Master Chief.
But of all the Microsoft things to put into it, it is the most Smash appropriate.
It's hilarious. It would be brilliant.
It would be amazing.
So many possibilities of I see you're trying to do a Smash move. Do you want me to help you? Slam the... Clippy would be like no, so they won't do Clippy.
But they would win E3 if they do that.
They won't. Because one thing, Clippy hasn't even existed for most of the generation that's like the young generation playing games.
But neither has Rob. And like Rob gets in there.
Yeah, but Rob's a Nintendo thing. But here's my pitch.
Okay.
Clippy assist trophy.
I
see you're trying to win the battle.
Yeah.
Would you like me to help?
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. 100%. Dear Nintendo, have you considered
Clippy?
You could remove Waluigi, add Clippy, and then make Waluigi the 5th new character. There we go. It all works out. Oh man, I wonder what the overall roadmap for Smash is going to be, because those characters are kind of like, is it 4 or 5?
I'm not sure.
I think it's 5. It's like if they're planning like big content updates as well as doing the characters with it, the game's already so fucking full.
Yeah, like by the way, we added map creation. It's like, what else they got in the pipe?
Yeah, I doubt they could do anything as big as that again.
Yeah.
But who knows? Oh, they just go, for our final update, Subspace Embassy 2. Oh, who knows? Maybe that's not as silly as I say.
Maybe they'll sneak in Pikmin 3 for you.
We just added Pikmin 3 because Pikmin 4.
Pikmin 4, sorry.
Yeah, it's like, we won't do anything else with it. So, here you go.
It's part of the update.
Off you go. Okay, and I've already said all goodbyes, so thanks for listening, everybody.